Mayuresh Joshi is now joining in for the last leg of the market. Mayuresh, watching the T20 game or the market? I heard there is a cracker of a match taking place down to the last ball between Afghanistan and South Africa. 3 consecutives, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the laptop is on one side and the television is on the other side. So I think, yes, can't miss T20. I think it's a stunner of a match as we are speaking.
Okay. Any stocks that caught your attention in today's trade? Lots of earnings reactions. What have you particularly liked?
Well, saying a lot of stocks are doing well today. So again, I think in terms of the earnings season itself, I think if I have to pick sectors and leadership stocks which have probably done well and probably delivered better than estimates, my own sense is that within the entire consumer staple space, Nestle India and V-Guard, I think these 2 stocks have given results which are far better than their peers and what the street was probably expecting as well. And the commentary going into Q4 has been equally strong. At the same time, I think a lot of banks, Rima, have given outstanding set of numbers, specifically the PSU banks. I think State Bank, the behemoth, even with a large base, is doing exceptionally well in today's trade. So in my opinion, again, I think select PSU banks have delivered outstanding set of numbers and valuations still remain reasonable and rating rankings for them look reasonably strong as well. As a space, I think budget, post-budget, I think data centers, and Prashant has been speaking a lot on that as well. I think that is very much in focus. And therefore, I think a couple of stocks which probably come onto our radar. We've probably not added that now, but still onto our radar. Cummins India is one of them. I think what Cummins is probably doing is the transmission norm changes which are happening in CPCP4. I think the transition changes are obviously going to benefit significantly. And they're deriving 40% of the revenues in terms of data centers itself, which can grow significantly higher with a nice run rate in terms of revenues, ROEs, ROCs at 25, 26%, ROCs in excess of 30%. And therefore, I think data centers, within data centers, I think ancillary plays like Cummins are probably on my radar. So I think a lot of good numbers that have probably come through across a lot of sectors where leadership stocks have probably shown strength.
Mayuresh, what do you make of Laurus Laboratories? That's a stock, in fact, that didn't do much for many quarters. The management kept guiding that the next quarter is going to be better. And the stock spent a good amount of time between 300 to around 500 rupees. But from there, it just looked north. It's a 1,000 rupee stock right now. One of those outperformers. What do you like from that space?
So I think both Laurus and DVs, I think specifically when you're speaking about Laurus, I think the kind of underperformance that transpired over the last few quarters, you're trying to see strength come back over the last 2 quarters. And obviously, I think management commentary and what it will be guiding to in terms of better numbers in FY27, I think they probably look on the path to recovery. Obviously, I think as a space, this will continue doing well. Margins are relatively better. And as the CAPEX component for both Laurus and DVs, even DVs has a large component in terms of their CAPEX spend at the plant expansion that they're probably doing. A large part of that expectation is that the asset sweating and utilization should start being very, very reasonable in FY27 and with better realizations and better pricing, assuming to come through. I think the expectations in terms of better numbers as the management is guided for, seems to be a base case scenario. So I think a strong move is anybody holding should continue with it.
Mayuresh, earlier in the day, we were talking about Poly Medicure, how it was a darling. It was a big play on Make in India for the medtech space. But the stock has run through troubled waters. There is dumping in their renal business from China. Growth has slowed down. Have you all analyzed the company? And is it turning around or do you expect more pressure financially?
So, Rima, no, frankly, I think out of our coverage as we speak right now, so very difficult to make a comment.
Anything in the jewelry companies across the board led by a strong increase in the gold prices? We've seen a 40% kind of a top line growth, whether it's Kalyan, PN, Gadgil, or even a Titan Industries. Do you like any?
So to begin with, I think the base case expectations itself are very muted, Rima. And again, I think the kind of numbers that have got thrown out, Kalyan, whether it's even Titan, I think the margin performance was reasonable at 10.4%. The started share at 26% for Titan. The expectations in terms of a very strong wedding season that is underway in Q4, I think that will probably play its part as well. Even for Kalyan, I think there has been a significant tectonic shift in terms of margin performance as well. And they're reverting back back to the margins that they probably enjoyed a few years back. A clear shift is probably being seen in terms of regulatory compliance changes from the unorganized market to the organized players itself. And therefore, these organized players are probably enjoying what we are seeing at this juncture. Q4 obviously will be a tad bit better because of the wedding season. At this juncture, I think Titan is something that we are holding in our global portfolios. In our swing portfolios, Reema, Thangamite Jewelers is something that we continue.
The auto comps, right, is a I don't know if this is a theme or you want to call it, but just a few very large volume-led gains today. Lumax Industries, Lumax Tech, both are up sharply. Bellrise is up very sharply. Look at JK Tyre, which is going up big time. Rico Auto, and then there is Sansera, which is also up and about. So, yeah, what do you own? Mayuresh.
Prashant, with autos expected to do well in terms of volume growth, the OEM part of the auto ag business probably gears up in a far better position as we speak structurally over the next few quarters. What also abets them is the replacement market, where pricing and margins both are relatively better compared to the OEM space. And therefore, I think as a space, with the kind of product diversification that a lot of ancillary companies are doing, specifically towards EV agnostic products, I think they should start gaining both in terms of the ICE market as we speak right now, the hybrid market and the expected EV market as well. With not too much debt onto their books, I think a few of these companies might actually continue doing well. Our own sense is that tire makers, JK Tyres had a good set of numbers in my opinion. I think the kind of dynamics that JK probably has as we speak, commercial still account for a large bulk of their overall revenue or product mix. Replacement complements that as well with better margins. Their capacities here and outside India, Latin America, Southeast Asia, with a strong dealer distribution network, I think that should have better earnings going forward as well. Lumax had a very good show as we speak in terms of a margin performance on 9 months compared to last year, where there has been a significant improvement in the margin profile, and that might very well continue. Going by the management comments as I read through the press release as well. Last but not the least, I think FIAM Industries is something that we are watching out for as well. Our own sense is that the kind of product mix that FIAM has and the expectations in terms of a marginal improvement in cash flows along with margins going forward. A lot of products being introduced.
Okay.
By Mayuresh Joshi from MarketSmith India. Mayuresh, thank you so much for joining in. Very quiet day for the markets, but did anything stand out for you? Specifically, if we talk about some of the stocks that Sudarshan also mentioned, any sectoral fundamentals that you wish to speak about?
Afternoon, Sonal. Now again, I think selective autos and auto ancillaries did stand out in today's trade as well. Specifically auto ancillaries, I think good set of numbers that probably came through. And a base case scenario that is now getting built in is that both OEM and the replacement market are firing on all cylinders as we speak. Input costs remain benign, and therefore volume and value-led growth will probably lead to top-line expansion over the next few quarters structurally. With input cost expected to stay benign, margins should be relatively better as well. And with better cash flows and better leverage management on a lot of auto and balance sheets, that has played out well. Even for autos, I think iShares numbers were far better than expected. M&M in line with estimates as we speak. With generally auto banks as a sector stood out. PSU banks, and within that State Bank of India continues its stellar run. The risk reward still probably looks reasonably placed for the entire universe as we speak. And there is some element of expectations in terms of banking reforms, which might positively act as an enabler and a catalyst for the sector as well.
Mayuresh, would you agree that maybe there's some amount of upside in terms of these healthcare stocks?
Absolutely, Ekta. And I think all the three triggers will probably benefit them going forward as well. I think the medical tourism as an aspect, I think that is going to pick up steam over the next few years. I think it's still a minuscule part in terms of overall revenues as far as major organized hospital chains are concerned. But as it gains steam and the budget impetus that has probably been given, I think that can add a significant amount of revenue stream to hospital chains. The second element in terms of bed additions that they're probably doing, I think the calibrated capex that most hospital enterprises are probably going through is a step in the right direction, because what they're probably doing in terms of bed additions and the capex that they're doing for that, example, I think Apollo 4,500 beds being added at a capex of 8,200 odd crores. over the next few years will mean that the leverage component will not shoot up significantly as we speak. And it gets spread out as the capex gets spread out. The asset light model in terms of carrying out managed hospitals or managed beds in tier 2, tier 3 cities also works in their favor. Obviously, the CGHS guidelines will aid and abet the overall revenue growth as well. So yeah, I think as a space, it should continue doing well.
Let's come back to Nifty Realty. Mayuresh, 0.6% higher on that index today. It is now down around 18% from the 52-week high levels. Last week we were talking about it being off around 30%. So there's definitely been some recovery. What's the indication now? Do you think they are at reasonable valuations, or there could be further derating of these names, considering that demand, of course, is not bad across the board, but it could see slower growth going forward?
Well, you're absolutely right, Sonal. And I think that's what is probably the pain point for most realty stocks. And therefore, you need to probably have a very stock-specific approach for the sector as a whole. I think three aspects. One, I think in terms of demand dynamics, inventory levels are inching up as we speak across metro cities, whether you take Delhi, Pune, Chennai, Bangalore. And to that extent, I think how these levels will play out in the next few months and quarters is something to be watched out for. The second element is that in terms of pre-sales, the new launches have been very, very selective by key players as well. And that is an indication in terms of both the mood and the sentiments as far as the real estate market is concerned. Now, with lesser pre-sales launches that are expected to take place, I think the analyst expectations in terms of pre-sales velocity and what to peg in terms of numbers going forward as a collection estimate for the entire year, I think that still seems to be a little bit of a circumspect angle as we speak. And third, I think leverage has been relatively stable and constrained. But for any reason whatsoever, I think if the leverage component suddenly starts going off or the cash flow suddenly become a little bit volatile, I think the valuations then probably might look a little bit more dearer as we speak. So very, very stock specific. I think Phoenix, Godrej Properties is something where, in our opinion, the rating rankings at MarketSmith India still look relatively stronger.
Okay, all right. Mayuresh, one stock which was in focus was BHEL on account of the UFS news. Just give us a sense in terms of what you think of that stock at current prices.
No, so obviously, I think the UFS news has dragged the stock lower as we speak. But two major themes for BHEL and the power sector as a whole. I think what will probably happen in terms of the massive outlay that is expected to happen in terms of renewables over the next few years. We stand at 500 gigawatts with a mix of thermal and renewables. Renewables itself expected to be 500 gigawatts by the end of 2032. So I think a huge component of government capex is going to go behind the entire power ecosystem, and BHEL will be one of the major contributors there as well. The second element in terms of their own balance sheet, a large part of their slow-moving orders have either been written off or have probably been recognized in the balance sheet, and therefore I think any new orders that come through are and will be at relatively better margins. Now, if BHEL executes well going forward and it keeps its working capital cycle in check, I think the kind of moves that we probably see, the momentum can probably come back very, very strongly in FY27.
Okay, all right. So that's about BHEL, and of course we keep getting the live updates in terms of subscription as well. So that is something to take note of as well. Tomorrow it will be open for other part of shareholders for BHEL. Generally, what's your take on PSU banks, Mayuresh? Because that was one big mover yesterday. Today it did recover from the lows of the day, and we were having a lot of conversations with Nuvama. They have been speaking with FPIs at their summit that they have. The indication was that they're still very bullish on banking because of various updates that have come by, plus the fact that valuations are still reasonable.
Absolutely, and both the things are working in favor of PSU Bank Sonal as a space. I think if you probably look at numbers across the pack, you start right from State Bank of India right to the bottom of the pyramid. Leave aside a few players. I think Canara Bank probably disappointed within the mid-cap PSU names, but a large chunk of the players have probably delivered better numbers in asset quality, in terms of the CASA deterioration largely being behind them, in terms of NIMs probably being far more stable and improving going forward as well. Last but not the least, I think capital adequacy remaining extremely strong, whether it's the mid-tier names or the larger ones as well. And therefore, as a space, along with the valuation aspect compared to the larger private or the mid-private sector banks, they still look reasonably placed. The rating rankings look exceptionally strong for the space as a whole. And therefore, I think numbers have done the kind of re-rating that one looks at, if they keep on delivering these numbers going forward as well, specifically in terms of deposit growth, which is going to be a very sticky aspect for the sector as a whole, where PSU banks might actually stand out, I think they might actually outperform the BFSI space as a whole. Obviously, one thing to look out for, Sonal, is the banking sector reforms and what comes out of it.
Okay, absolutely. A trigger which definitely the banking stocks will watch out for, which is in terms of the reforms. Thanks, Mayuresh, for joining in and giving us all of those stocks that you are tracking today.